I speak to you today on St. Augustine. If you look at what I've written, you see great big long sections in a straight bracket. Those are the sections I am not reading right now. Otherwise, we'd be here quite a long time. But if you read through this gives you all the information about where he was born, where he died, yada, yada, yada. But some of that isn't as interesting as his writings on the effect of Greek philosophers on the Catholic Church. St. Augustine, also called St. Augustine of Hippo. His original Latin name was Aurelius Augustinius. He was born 13 November 354. And he died, of course, 28 August 430. Augustine's adaptation of classical thought to Christian teaching created a theological system of great power and lasting influence. His numerous written works, the most important of which are Confessions, written circa 400, and The City of God, circa 413 to 426, shaped the practice of biblical exegesis and helped lay the foundation for much of medieval and modern Christian thought. In Roman Catholicism, he is formally recognized as a doctor of the Church. Augustine is remarkable for what he did and extraordinary for what he wrote. If none of his written works had survived, he would still have been a figure to be reckoned with, but his stature would have been more nearly that of some of his contemporaries. However, more than 5 million words of his writings survived, virtually all displaying the strength and sharpness of his mind, and some limitations of range and learning, and some possessing the rare power to attract and hold the attention of readers in both his day and ours. The distinctive theological style shaped Latin Christianity in a way surpassed only by the scriptures themselves. His work continues to hold contemporary relevance, in part because of his membership in a religious group that was dominant in the West in his time and remains so today. Intellectually, Augustine represents the most influential adaptation of the ancient Platonic tradition with Christian ideas that ever occurred in the Latin Christian world. Augustine received the Platonic from Plato past in a far more limited and diluted way than did many of his Greek-speaking contemporaries, but his writings were so widely read and imitated throughout Latin Christendom that his particular synthesis of Christian, Roman, and Platonic traditions defined the terms for much later tradition and debate. Both modern Roman Catholic and Protestant Christianity owe much to Augustine, though in some ways each community has at times been embarrassed to own up to that allegiance in the face of irreconcilable elements of his thought. Augustine's literary and intellectual abilities, however, gave him the power to articulate his vision of Christianity in a way that set him apart from his African contemporaries. His unique gift was the ability to write at a high theoretical level for the most discerning readers, and still be able to deliver sermons with fire and fierceness in an idiom that a less cultured audience could admire. Augustine would travel to Carthage for several months of the year to pursue ecclesiastical business in an environment more welcoming to his talents than that of his adopted home city. For the next 20 years, from about 390 to 410, he was preoccupied with the struggle to make his own brand of Christianity prevail over all others in Africa. The native African Christian tradition had run afoul of the Christian emperors who succeeded Constantine, and was reviled as schismatic. It was branded with the name of Donatism, after Donatus, one of its early leaders. Augustine and his chief colleague in the official church, Bishop Aurelius of Carthage, fought a canny and relentless campaign against it with their books, with their recruitment of support among church leaders, and with the careful appeal to Roman officialdom. In 411, the reigning emperor sent an official representative to Carthage to settle the argument. A public debate held in 3 sessions during June 1st through June 8th, and attended by hundreds of bishops on each side, ended with a ruling in favor of the official church. The ensuing legal restrictions on Donatism decided the struggle in favor of Augustine's party. Through these years, Augustine had carefully built for himself a reputation as a writer throughout Africa and beyond. His careful cultivation of selected correspondence had made his name known in Gaul, Spain, Italy, and the Middle East, and his books were widely circulated throughout the Mediterranean world. In his last years, he compiled a careful catalogue of his books, annotating them with bristling defensiveness to deter charges of inconsistencies. His fame notwithstanding, Augustine died with his local legacy dimmed by foreign conquest. When he was a young man, it was inconceivable that Pax Romana could fall. But in his last year, he found himself and his fellow citizens of Hippo prisoner to a siege laid by a motley army of invaders who had swept into Africa across the Strait of Gibraltar. These were called the Vandals by contemporaries. The attacking forces comprised of a mixed group of barbarians and adventurers searching for a home. Augustine, though, was survived by his books. A revival of Orthodox Christianity in the 6th century under the patronage of Constantinople was brought to an end in the 7th century with the Islamic invasions that permanently removed North Africa from the sphere of Christian influence, until that thin Christianization of French colonization in the 19th century. The story was told that his mortal remains went to Sardinia, and thence to Pavia, Italy, where a shrine concentrates reverence on that which is said to be those remains. Whatever the truth of the story, some organized withdrawal to Sardinia on the part of Augustine's followers, bearing his body and his books, is not impossible, and remains the best surmise. Here are some of the most famous of Augustine quotations. The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only a page. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. Patience is the companion of wisdom. Since love grows within you, so beauty grows, for love is the beauty of the soul. It was pride that changed angels into devils. It is humility that makes men as angels. God loves each of us as if there were only one of us. Charity is no substitute for justice withheld. In the absence of justice, what is sovereignty but organized robbery? Faith is to believe what you do not yet see. The reward for this faith is to see what you believe. Complete abstinence is easier than perfect moderation. I encourage you to print these quotes out, because you will find one or two that work for you on any given day. But personally, I find 5 of them that work for me every day. Patience is the companion of wisdom, and love grows within you, so beauty grows, for love is the beauty of the soul. God loves each of us as if there were only one of us. Peace to all.